Good afternoon. I believe most of you should already know me. My name is Tom, and I am the manager of an asset-based investment fund centered around high-end whiskeys. And I'm not going to lie to you, the business has slowed down in the last couple of months. Things have been rough. There's been some very, very long days, some very, very tough conversations with good clients. I've had to tell people who I've promised returns of millions of dollars that they're only going to be getting, tens of thousands, and most of that's going to be going to my fees. Times have been tough. And there's not much I can do but tighten our belts. But there's an upside to that, which is a lot of downtime. I've actually just gotten back from vacation. I went to Napa Valley, and while I was at Rombauer drinking lots of Chardonnay, my mind turned to Macallan, because the Macallan is a little bit of a mess right now. They're still selling plenty of bottles to retired dads and finance bros with expense accounts, but even among the groups that like Macallan, they've become a little bit of a joke. The halo is gone. The aura is gone. The prestige of 20 years ago, 30 years ago, has begun to sort of drop off a little bit, and that's a problem. So what they're just losing a lot of good customers right now, and they're going to lose more in the future if they don't change things. So I've just been thinking about a few changes they could make in what they're doing to really bring up the brand a little bit and improve the business. And I thought I would share with you, because I'm not a neutral party here. I'm not doing this out of the goodness of my heart. There is none. Macallan is one of the most important names in the whiskey collecting business, and a lot of the prices on that side of things are reflected by current perceptions of the distillery as it is today. So if that goes down in flames, I'm losing money, and that's not a good thing. No, what I really wanted to do, so I've talked to the Macallan guys about this. They've heard some variation on this speech, I don't know, at least a few times over the years. Turns out they're Rombauer fans too. We have lunch on a fair, fairly often. But I figured putting it out there on so regular people can see it might give them a little push to get the changes started. Let's talk about Macallan for just a moment. This formerly great Scotch single malt whiskey brand. What do people know about the Macallan? Put it this way: what do they see when they go to the grocery store or to their local liquor store? What's on the shelf of Macallan? Well, the first thing they're going to see is a double oak 12-year-old, which is sherry cask, but part of the sherry cask is American oak and part of it is European. And that comes in the blue box. And then you've got and that costs something like $80. And then you've got the traditional cask, which is in the black box, 12-year-old, which is a little bit more expensive at $100. And frankly, I think these price points are just a little bit ridiculous. So I think for the first move we would make to improve the brand is we're going to at least double the price of the traditional cask, and probably more like triple the price of the double oaks. So we're looking at maybe 200 or so, and then like 240, 250. The anchor of the range, the cheapest Macallan we should be selling, I think should be the classic cut. It's a little bit of a lame name, which is what we want for the role this product has to play. We're going to make a few changes to it. It doesn't need to be, have ABVs up in the 50s. For our customers, it just doesn't. So we're going to lower that to some arbitrary number, 42.8 maybe. It doesn't really matter. And we're going to give it an age statement. We're going to an age statement that is adequate and at the same time kind of disappointing. 8 years old, maybe 7 or 8 years old, something like that. And this will be the bottom of the range. You'll also have, right now there's some special releases, Cacao Harmony. I don't know exactly, in the pushing close to 200. That's a perfectly good price point for these things. We don't want people actually buying these things. Their role in the range is so that we can point to them and say that's the value-driven Macallan, and so that people can, skip over them and not feel like they're cheaping out. The thing we're going to put as the flagship bottle of the brand is the traditional cask 12-year-old. We want this thing on Instagram. We want this in music videos. We want this in sports sponsorships. We want the traditional cask 12-year-old everywhere. And more importantly, we want it to be almost impossible to buy. We want to reduce production by, I'd say, at least 90% or so, probably more. Basically, we want people fighting and shivving each other in the parking lots over this stuff. We want waiting lists. We want lotteries. We want allocations. We want a thriving black market of fake Macallan traditional cask 12-year-olds out there. So we want to create a fervor for this particular product, and for people to basically not be able to buy it. What they will be able to do. This is important. We are at the moment. We're going to drastically reduce availability of the Macallan, where no one is going to be able to buy this stuff in the groceries anymore. I don't know exactly how the legalities of this are going to work, but we're going to maybe we should get some pet distributors or something. But in any case, we're going to make sure that the Macallan only goes to stores of our choice, the stores that follow our rules and meet our expectations. And of course, we should also open up a handful, not too many, just a handful of Macallan boutiques staffed by very attractive young people who are extremely well dressed. And that will be it. That will be the only places you're actually able to buy any sort of Macallan single malt. But again, the particular traditional cask 12-year-old, that will be almost impossible to buy and pretty much anywhere, even at the boutiques. Boutiques will get a few bottles at a time, and they will pick out particularly good customers to buy those bottles. Now, how do you become a good customer? You go in and you see that there's no traditional cask 12-year-old, and so you spend the $250 odd to buy the double oak instead. And you do that a couple of times. Maybe you could step up to you repeat all this in further up the range as well. So with the 15-year-olds, we start with the $500 for the traditional cask 15-year-old. Can you buy it? Absolutely not. But you can buy the double oak 15-year-old for $600. See how all this is starting to work? And you can fill in this range with at the $300, $400 range with some special bottlings. A Amontillado cask, 12-year-old, why not? Port cask. Port, of course, is not actually sherry, but our customers don't care. They don't know. In any case, and once people have spent enough money at our stores of choice, and the folks there really, really like them, then they get the call, hey, we had some black boxes come in. Would you like to come take a look? And that's basically the game plan. Luxury, luxury, luxury. That is the plan. And you might hear this, especially those of you who watch this kind of channel. You might hear this and you might think, wait, Tom, what are you talking about? Because you're talking about reducing supply, manipulating supply, really, manipulating supply, manipulating pricing, manipulating marketing, basically treating the customers like idiots. Do y'all mind? I skipped lunch, and so why not just focus on making good whiskey? Like Macallan did in the good old days. I just rode my bike over here, sorry. Yeah, why not just try to make the best whiskey in the world and sell it for a reasonable price, right? That's what people want. And to that, I mean, it's a cute idea, right? It's a very cute idea. I'm gonna say since Macallan moved into the largest hobbit hole ever built, I think the days of there being the best whiskey in the world are long gone. That train has left the station. I'm really sorry. What we can still do is make Macallan into the best luxury whiskey brand in the world. And luxury is not about quality. It doesn't mean, the quality can't be terrible, right? It has to be kind of okay, but quality is not the reason people buy luxury products. I mean, put it this way. Let me put the point like this. Take these salted peanuts. They're crunchy, they're salty, they're sort of filling, they're a little mouth-watering. They're nice. You could take these and then try to make the best possible version of salted peanuts you possibly could. Start with the best base material. Start with the best roasting technology, best roasting techniques, best seasoning, best salt. And just make the best salted peanut anyone's ever done. And, some people out there are going to appreciate that. Some people are going to be willing to pay the extra money to say, yeah, I do want this level of quality in my salted peanut. But let me ask you this. Where do you think you're going to make more money? You think you're going to make more money making a really, really good salted peanut, charging a little bit more money for it? Or by taking this basic, simple salted peanut, putting it in a shiny package, pasting it all over Instagram, all over where people can see it, jacking up the price, and then making sure that it's almost impossible to buy. See what I mean? There's one scenario in which I can picture people lining up around the block for peanuts, doing peanut splits. And I think you know which scenario that is. Luxury is not about quality. Luxury is about you not being able to get it. And that's what we're trying to engineer here. As another example, let's talk about the greatest luxury brand in the world. It's Rolex. Please, I won't hear any debates on this. It's Rolex. Rolex has been making money treating their customers like morons and with contempt for decades now. I know they've taken a few hits on the chin in the last couple of quarters. But you know what? They're going to be fine. Do you know why they're going to be fine? Because they control 30% of the entire Swiss watch market. That Certina you bought for, on closeout from Joma Shop, there's probably less of those in the world than there are Datejusts. But it sure doesn't feel as special as a Datejust, doesn't it? And why is that? What is the experience of... Thank you for hearing me around on the peanuts, by the way. What's the experience of trying to buy a Rolex? You got a good week, right? You got a promotion. You're a couple months away from marriage. You've landed. You've arrived, and you want to buy yourself a nice watch. So you go to your Rolex dealer, and you've decided you thought maybe a Daytona. But you're not going to splurge too much. Stainless steel Daytona. So you're going to get a steel Submariner. And I know you are because that's what everyone wants. You go in there, and turns out they don't have a steel Submariner to sell you. Why don't they have a steel Submariner? Too much demand? That is ridiculous. Rolex has unbelievable amounts of money. They could cover the moon in steel subs if they wanted to. The reason there isn't a steel sub there is they don't want it to be there. Why wouldn't they want it to be there? Wouldn't they make a ton of money selling basic steel Submariners to pretty much everyone who walks in? Absolutely. But then everyone, the hoi polloi, would all have steel Submariners. And it wouldn't be cool anymore. It would lose that shine. It would lose that sparkle. And Rolex would lose the customers they actually want to have interested in them. So what happens? You're in the Rolex dealer, can't find a sub, they can't bring one in. So you look around at what they have in stock and what they can order pretty quickly. You see some Oyster Perpetuals, maybe. You're not going to buy an OP. No one wants to be caught with the cheapest Rolex. Yeah, maybe some Air Kings, a bunch of precious metal stuff. So, then you go one of two ways, right? Either you're not a Rolex customer, and you say thank you very much to the staff, and you leave having put your name down on the waiting list. They're never going to call you. They're never going to call you. Sorry, it's not going to happen. Or alternatively, you do a quick Google. You check the street price of a steel Submariner, and you realize, wait a second, it's not actually that much more cheap on the street to get one immediately than to just buy one of the precious metal ones, maybe a two-tone, maybe a white gold sub. So you buy one right there, or you order one so you can pick up in the next couple of days, and you leave happy, having bought yourself a fantastic watch. Now you are a Rolex customer, and you come in a few months later, and you buy yourself a presidential, say, also in precious metals. Once you spend enough money, and the dealer really, really likes you, then you get the phone call. Hey, we had some steel Submariners come in. You want to come take a look? And then you buy it, and you can either wear it and make everyone jealous, or you can flip it for a little bit of money. Everyone's happy. Everyone that matters, anyways. And this just works. This works brilliantly, and Macallan really needs to watch and learn from the masters. Now, I mean, okay, there's another part of this, because you could say, Tom, you magnificent bastard. I'll finish this off later. You're probably mostly right about this, and I hate you. But there's another part of this which you haven't talked about, which is Tudor. Rolex has Tudor. Rolex has its own sub-brand. So the guy who leaves the Rolex counter doesn't necessarily leave the dealer. He may just go a couple of cases down and start looking at the Tudors. He's probably going to end up buying a Black Bay, right? So Rolex still picks up that sale, even though the guy isn't technically buying a Rolex. He's buying this sub-brand, which is Rolex-y. And Macallan doesn't have anything like that. If Macallan does what you're talking about, you're going to lose tons of sale volume. And isn't that going to be bad? And all this you're saying is absolutely true. It's absolutely true. So with that in mind, I would like to introduce you to the Edrington Blended Malt Whiskey. Now, Edrington Group already has a blended malt whiskey. It's called Naked. You don't care about it, and you've never heard of it because it's called Naked. It's not 1997 anymore. Come on, guys. Did you learn nothing from the whole Jim Murray thing? Jesus. So we're axing Naked. Naked is no longer a thing. And instead, we are introducing the Edrington Group, or just the Edrington Blended Malt Whiskey, which the design and really the whole build of the range is going to be modeled on the Macallan, because of course it is. And we are going to present this as a heavily sherried blend of fine malt whiskeys from the Edrington Group distilleries. And that means someone on the internet is going to notice that and say, that means there's Macallan in it. Macallan is owned by the Edrington Group. There's Macallan in that. How much Macallan is in there? I don't know, but there's Macallan in that. In reality, these blended malts are going to be like 90+% Macallan, because Macallan is a gigantic booze factory, and we need to put that production volume somewhere, so it goes into these blended malts. These are our volume sellers. This is what goes to the grocery stores to be bought up by the hoi polloi. This is what competes with the Aberlours and the Glenfarclases and Glendronachs and all those things, but they compete at an advantage because they have the halo of this delicious nectar of the gods, unattainable single malt called the Macallan, they have that halo, they have that connection and that heritage. So people are going to gravitate towards. They're going to gravitate towards them, and even better, every time people buy a bottle of this, of the Edrington Blended Malt, they're going to feel a little bit like they're cheaping out, a little bit like they're missing out a little bit. And so with every single bottle, they will feel a little bit more that we're pushing them that little bit more towards finally buying a bottle of 12-year-old double oak. It's brilliant. So set things up like this, have most of the volume sales, Edrington Blended Malt Whiskey, and then you have above that the actual proper Macallan range. And everyone is happy. The rich and the CEOs, the fund managers like myself, we have our fine, exclusive, hard to get single malt to enjoy without ever having to risk seeing the pores pouring it. Or you're not going to run into it at a Christmas party or anything. So it's exclusive and it remains ours. And that's fantastic. Meanwhile, the pours get themselves a delicious, value-driven bottle of blended malt whiskey, which is aspirational. It gives them a little taste of the good life, right? And so, everyone's happy. Everyone's happy, except maybe, the occasional pesky whiskey reviewer who says, this stuff is absolutely not worth $200 and no one should be chasing it. And you know what? They're right. And everyone will say, yeah, you're probably right about that. And then they're going to check Facebook anyways to see if anyone's got a bottle to flip, because that's how humans are. So anyways, that's the plan. I hope the folks at Macallan are listening. I think this is a very brilliant business plan. I know my current role is as a fund manager, but my consulting fees, if you want to have me on as a brand consultant, they're very, very reasonable. Give me a call, guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your afternoon.